Dream on, fly high, and live adventurously on The Laura Meeks Show. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio as host Laura Meeks guides you in finding your unique gifts and bringing them to life. As a certified life coach, speaker, and veteran bomber pilot for the U.S. Air Force, Laura knows how to follow a dream. She is ready to support you so you can dream on, fly high, and live adventurously. For more information on Laura and her work, visit flyhighliving.com.
Are you ready to put down that drink or drug for good? Are you struggling to maintain your recovery from addictive behaviors? Do you need help with a family member or loved one who's in early recovery or battling addiction? Get the help and guidance you need by arranging a Recovery Recharged phone session with me, Ellen Stewart, Pushy Broad from the Bronx, certified life and recovery coach. Call 1-800-889-1757. Make an appointment today or go to my website, pushybroadfromthebronx.com, and click on the link that says Recovery Recharged. Don't wait. Get the help you need today. This is Ellen Stewart, Pushy Broad from the Bronx on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Did you know that all of the shows on the Transformation Radio Network are available as podcasts to stream or download?
Really?
Check us out. Go to transformationradio.fm. We have business shows, spiritual shows, energy healing shows, and pretty much everything in between. Something for everyone, guaranteed to inspire, educate, and transform. We are transforming the world, one listener at a time.
Are you your story? Or can you change your story? Can you change what you believe to be true about yourself and your circumstances as part of your healing journey? What if you were to change your expectations? What if you were to invite ease and cooperation into every day and then step back and see what happens? It might just be easier. I'm Megan Edge, and I hope that you'll join me on my new radio show, Playing on the Edge, Radical Change with Ease, with my co-host Dr. Pat on Transformation Talk Radio. I look forward to seeing you there.
Want to find out more about Megan Edge? Visit her website at meganedge.ca.
It's time to shake out your money-making truth on Soul Wisdom Abundance with Jennifer Bloom, creating wealth from spiritual health on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This hit show is more than your roadmap to success. It's your compass to abundance through joy and ease. Jennifer Bloom teaches you about the soul's relationship to money and wealth and how improving that relationship serves both you and the world. Learn more at jenniferbloom.com.
Tap into the wisdom of animals, angels, and masters with Darcy Pariso on Animal Soul Wisdom Radio. Tune in monthly as Darcy brings insights on how to better understand and deepen our relationships with animals. Working with light and pureness of ancient techniques, Darcy, healer, animal communicator, and medium, is here to guide you through this process and provide inspiration to move forward. For more information about working with Darcy, visit darcypariso.com.
Hey, how's it going? If it's stressful or just plain exhausting, New Light Living is here to ask, is this the way you want to live? Join me, your intuitive spiritual life coach and host, Ulrika Sullivan, every week on New Light Living. Discover the power of creative tools to start living every day as your ideal dream day. See your life in the new light. To learn more, visit newlightliving.com.
Are you ready to transform your life and embrace magical experiences? Talking to Tanis with your host Tanis McCrae is here to help you find your joy in life. Tune in live every first and third Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Let's awaken your experience and create the change necessary to take back your right to choose who you are. For more about Tanis, visit TalkingToTanis.com.
Have you ever wondered what your pets think about? Do you know what your pets are saying to you? Dr. Monica will be your pet's translator to help you understand what your pets are trying to communicate to you. Enhance the bond with your furry friends on Pets Talk with pet communicator Dr. Monica each month on TransformationTalkRadio.com. For more information about Dr. Monica, visit petcommunicator.com.
Sanskrit is not just a language to be written and spoken, but it is a doorway to gaining understanding of how we experience life and truth. Conscious Confidence is a book written by Sanskrit scholar Sarah Main. The stories Sarah shares will take you on a journey of understanding how the power of this ancient language is not only still relevant, but can truly transform your everyday life. Drawing upon the deeper meanings behind the Sanskrit words for confidence, Sarah Main outlines principles for harnessing the fourfold energy of conscious confidence: focusing, uniting, simplifying, and energizing. Not just a book, a life guide. Available now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Inner Traditions. You can find all of those links on consciousconfidence.com.
This is Debbie Pokornik with a break-free parenting tip. Parenting will always be a bit of a mystery. Who knows why some parenting ideas work and others do not? Or why some kids seem to succeed despite family setbacks, while others have so much given to them and yet fail to thrive. The one thing we do know is that once you have a child, you'll never be quite the same again. Awe-inspiring emotions like overwhelming love, extreme guilt, intense frustration, and incredible joy make this job second to none. Breaking free of parenting pressures means recognizing the pieces that make us unique, the pieces that we carry with us from the past, and the pieces that are influenced by the society we live in. When we can pick and choose which pieces we want to keep around and change the others to align with our inner wisdom, we will feel more self-assured in our role as a parent.
For information and to work with Debbie, visit empoweringnrg.com.
Hi, this is Kimberly Carlson, and I would love for you to tune in to All In Healing Radio, where together we will begin to experience health, happiness, and harmony in all areas and aspects of life. Join us every first Tuesday of the month at 11 a.m. on TransformationTalkRadio.com. All In Healing will help you release layers of negative beliefs and energies for radiant health, deep joy, and greater abundance. Visit me at KimberlyCarlson.com.
The Coach Peggy Show, all things wellness with me, Coach Peggy Wilms. Tune in every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com, where I'm going to talk to you about all things wellness. We go way beyond nutrition and fitness, you guys. It's the Coach Peggy Show. We get bold, we get badass, and we never go half in. And for more information, you can visit me at allthingswellness.com.
How many times do you find yourself saying, "It was nothing," or "just doing my job," when really you knocked it out of the park? How did you get like this? Next time someone tells you "great job," you'll know how to accept it and not deflect it by listening to Courage to Be Seen Radio with host Sherry Clark. Sherry Clark is an experienced global engineering leader, coach, and mentor. From her experiences one-on-one coaching to corporate consulting and executive coaching, Sherry has learned many women need at least 3 things to discover and face success. Learn about the ACES program, how to survive male-dominated fields with grace and authenticity, and reach the top without ever once giving up on who you are. Courage to Be Seen host Sherry Clark explores the awesome power of your entire self and how far you can go by being more you. Check out her website, CourageToBeSeen.com. You have the courage to be seen. See you later.
Are you ready to put down that drink or drug for good? Are you struggling to maintain your recovery from addictive behaviors? Do you need help with a family member or loved one who's in early recovery or battling addiction? Get the help and guidance you need by arranging a recovery recharged phone session with me, Ellen Stewart, Pushy Broad from the Bronx, certified life and recovery coach. Call 1-800-889-1757. Make an appointment today or go to my website, pushybroadfromthebronx.com, and click on the link that says Recovery Recharged. Don't wait. Get the help you need today. This is Ellen Stewart, Pushy Broad from the Bronx, on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Welcome, Transformation Talk Radio listeners. My name is Ellen Stewart, Pushy Broad from the Bronx, and you're listening to Recovery Recharged with my co-host, Dr. Pat.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Pat, and I'm really excited about this show for a lot of reasons. One is that both Ellen and I completely understand when you take on a topic of recovery, it has so many layers to it. You know, I wish they would have written the book 50 Shades of Recovery, because there are at least 50. And more than that, when we think about it, we think about what is out in our society, what we sort of glorify in the way of, you know, alcohol, drugs, addiction, and what the confusion is. But today's show in particular is really the show that calls for an invitation, because if we don't know how to show up to support a loved one, and that's the most important thing for today, if we can't support a loved one through addiction and recovery, it not only creates more chaos in the lives that you have, but it causes a sense of hopelessness. And that's what the show's about today, Ellen, right? We're talking about having a part of recovery that is recharged, so that support isn't just a word, it becomes a thing that people do, right?
Yes, and that involves action steps. And that's what we're going to try to do today. And we're going to try to make it comfortable for people to ask questions about what those action steps might be, because everybody is affected. Today, the disease of addiction recovery is no longer 6 degrees of separation. Unfortunately, we know someone that is very, very close to us. It could be our partner, our spouse, our child, or, you know, maybe even ourselves. But we have to give support to let people know that we love them and that we care about them and that we know what's going on. More importantly, we understand that there is a problem that needs someone to look at. So this show is entitled Supporting a Loved One Through Addiction and Recovery. And the first thing I want to talk about is, how do you know that your loved one actually has a problem with alcohol or drugs? I mean, are there signs at home? Is something happening that you say, well, there's something going on here and I'm not sure what it is, but I know that person needs help. So there are a lot of different overt ways that people tell you they have a problem. And one of those ways may be very, very overt. Someone has just gotten arrested for a DWI, which is driving while intoxicated, or somebody may be coming home and smelling of alcohol on their breath, or they're daily drinking every single night. They're finishing a 6-pack of beer or a bottle of wine. Right, Dr. Pat? There are so many overt signs. Yes.
You know, think about this. Look, you're watching the Oscars last night, right? Well, maybe you weren't, but if you were, it is quite unusual for a recipient to comment, not once, but more than once.
Yes.
Won the award, I'm going to go get a drink, right?
Right.
That is the solution in our society. Oh, it's not working out. Oh my gosh, I feel depressed. Let me go get a drink.
Or I want to celebrate. Let me go get a drink.
Let's
right?
go get a drink. Oh, I'm happy. Let's go get a drink. Right?
Right. All the time. And that recipient last night commented 3 times. And the last comment
you saw it too?
Yes. Yeah. And the last comment he made was, I'm going to drink all night.
Yeah.
All night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Now, do we believe that that's the case? Yeah, you bet. You bet we do.
Yes, we do.
Do we believe it is just for people in Hollywood? Well, we might. But no. addiction knows no special street corner, no geographic. It is everywhere. Tell us about your experience of this because, look, you are working this 20 people. Let's talk about what you see, but more importantly, are people coming for help?
Well, people are coming for help. And the most important thing is not only are the people that are suffering with alcoholism or addiction, but more and more my client base is people that don't know what to do, how to support their loved ones. And not only that, don't know how to solve their own problems because their life is changing. Their life is no longer the same. They have so many different problems with somebody that is in denial about drinking. They turn around, they tell me that my husband is leaving little liquor bottles all over the house. And when I confront him about it, he tells me not to worry about it or I'm crazy. Could you believe that?
Yeah.
Or my husband comes home or my wife comes home reeking of alcohol and they tell me it's a new cologne they purchased. Okay? Or my child is having terrible grades at school and constantly failing and constantly getting caught with a bad crowd. And now the new thing is kids are vaping and they're vaping marijuana. So now they're being busted in school, they're being drug tested, and now they're going into treatment because the vaping now has THC, now has marijuana in it. And they will constantly be in denial to their parents until they get caught. And parents don't know what to do about this. There are many parents that have said to me, well, I know it's a phase and I used to do it in high school or I used to do it in college. No, it's not a phase. It's not a phase, and it has to be addressed before it becomes a serious problem.
Yeah.
So if you see that your loved one is refusing to admit they have a problem when you know in your heart that they do, that is telling you, I don't have a problem, I'm not going to drink, or I can stop drinking whenever I want, right? Isn't that a famous saying? I could stop. Or it's interfering in your life in a major way. These are definite signs that you cannot ignore. If you are a loved one, you can't shove it under the rug and say, well, if I don't talk about it, it's just going to go away by itself. It is not. It's not.
Well, I want to talk about this aspect of asking for help. I want to specifically talk about what some of the indicators are for people, but I also want folks to know if they want to call into the show and they want to ask questions, or they don't want to come on air, but they want to ask their questions. You can do it a couple ways. You can give your question to Benny, or you could type your question in Facebook for this show, or you can go ahead and go into Transformation Talk Radio and ask your question. And please, this is about getting the questions on the table so that you can get some help. I think for the most part, what we're talking about today and what you're going to walk us through today are what some of the things that we should be on the lookout for. And then when we see them, what do we do? And that's what we've covered so far. But once we see this, there are so many things that happen, Ellen, that people, they start to blame themselves. They start to think, maybe it's my fault. Can you talk about, look, now that you may have identified this, right? Now that you see something happening and you're concerned, now as a person and a loved one, we should go over what some of the things are that happen to the people that are around others that are using and may most likely have an addiction problem.
Exactly. Well, the first thing, as we said, is distress. It's not all in your mind, okay? You're not making things up and you're not exaggerating things. If you detect that there is an alcohol or drug problem, please first trust your instincts, okay? Trust your instincts. You're not going crazy. And yes, you need serious help. But this is what happens. You start blaming yourself. You say, if I had done something better, maybe this wouldn't have happened to my child. Or if I have had taken better care of things, or, anything along those lines. So number one, stop blaming yourself. That's the first way to start coping. This is not your fault. You didn't cause this. You didn't do it. So please understand that. Second, as much as I know this is going to be difficult, you cannot take this personally. The person that has the alcohol or drug problem is not deliberately trying to hurt you. That's number one, because they're not aware, and the disease is more powerful than they are personally. And number two, I don't want you to think that you have caused this in any way possible. There is nothing that you could have done to cause this situation, no matter what you think. And I need you to know that you can't control it. Stop trying to do that. You have to let the crisis unfold in order for the person that wants to get help or doesn't know that they need help to see that there's a crisis in front of them. So don't try to fix it. Don't try to control it. Don't do stupid things like trying to empty the liquor bottles down the sink or throw the pills away or confront this person in a situation. Don't do that. And realize that you can't fix it and you can't cure it, because being an active alcoholic, addiction is a disease. You can't cure it. And the most important thing, which is why I would like you to call in today, don't cover it up. Don't put your head in the sand and say it's not there. Don't make excuses for it. Don't turn around and say to your friends, well, I don't really know what's going on, or he's just an occasional drinker, or she's just an occasional drinker. Don't make excuses for it. And most importantly, to many of you out there, stop accepting unacceptable behavior. Addiction causes people to do a lot of things that are not acceptable in terms of behavior. And sometimes that's dangerous behavior. And I really want you to understand, if you're in any kind of danger or you're seeing behavior that is absolutely unacceptable, don't walk away.
Yeah.
Don't say, don't make excuses for it, right? We can't do that.
Yeah.
I wanted to say some other things. Don't have unrealistic expectations. You can't fix this right away. They're not going to fix it right away. If your loved one says to you, I'm just going to stop, or it's going to be okay, and in a week it'll all be gone, that's not true. That's not going to happen. So I need you to have realistic expectations that this is a process and a journey, and it takes one day at a time.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think we're saying that this is an easy conversation, but the question really is, how easy is it to watch a loved one go down a pathway that you and I both know there is really no return path without getting help?
And that's exactly why they need a recovery coach, because someone has to hold their hand and show them and have them understand what's really going on. People are confused when this happens. And all a loved one wants to do is to help that person, but you have to know how to help and how, more importantly, to help yourself through this process. It's not only the active and the alcoholic that needs help, but the families and the parents. They need a tremendous amount of help, and that's exactly what they can get with the Push You Broad from the Bronx and recovery coaching.
Yeah,
those are the kinds of things that I do.
And one of the things I want to talk about here, and I want to make sure folks have your website, is there is a certain, let's just call it a certain behavior that happens. And the perfect matchup, right, for somebody that is an addict, right, or has an addiction, let's just say somebody that has an addiction, is being around someone else that wants to make sure they are pleasing that person 24/7. And I think the hardest thing to do is to step back and say, the reason I need to provide you with honest feedback, the reason that I need to really show up here, even though I do want to please you, maybe I don't like conflict, maybe I want to keep things kind of going smoothly. Well, that does two things that don't help. One, the person you're trying to help never gets the right feedback, never really gets a sense of, if I'd have only known this. I mean, how many times have you heard that? Right?
All the time. I mean,
Right.
that's what we call enabling behavior. I am going to try to make things right, and I'm going to try to help you and fix you and make a clear path for you and make excuses for you and take care of you. That's an enabling situation. And what happens there is you realize that you have to make some tough decisions, because you not only are losing the person you're trying to help, but you lose yourself in the process. And people don't understand that it's very important that the entire family or your partner stays well in this process. And that means to separate from them and make some of the tough decisions and say, no, I'm not going to put up with this behavior. I'm going to help you get help.
So
That's
let's
the
talk
most
about tough decisions, but also the phrase that's called tough love. We're starting to see the phrase tough love a lot, but I don't
Yes.
know that folks really understand what tough love means. I think the worst thing we can do with anyone really is to watch somebody struggle, even with something they don't know how to do. I help people play a certain sport, and I've watched them struggle, right, with something that can be fixed or adjusted. And of course, if they don't ask me, I don't help them. But in a conversation, it is very difficult for you not to say to somebody, look, if you just knew this, if you just could do this, if you just wanted to change this, this is where you could go. And how hard is it for people that are watching their loved ones struggle with addiction to even say, look, you've got to get some better skills at how to handle this. There's something that you're going to need to learn, or it's just not going to get better for you. And you may not ever be able to help somebody with an addiction, right? I mean, isn't this part of what you're doing too?
Absolutely. I help facilitate those conversations because I understand how difficult it is.
Yeah.
So what I also do is facilitate the bond between the family and the active alcoholic, because those conversations are extremely difficult, and families rightfully so get emotional through it. And sometimes that emotion is sadness and tears, and sometimes the emotion is rage and anger. How could you do this to me? Can't you just stop drinking? I don't understand what's going on. Don't you love me enough to do this for me? Right? We hear that all the time.
Yeah.
Families say, well, if you'd only do this, then our relationship would be better. If you'd only stop drinking, then everything will be okay. Why can't you just do that? The disease of addiction is something that's very difficult to understand. So the work that I do with families is not only facilitating better communication between themselves and their loved one, who is the active alcoholic, but I teach them exactly what addiction is all about, so that they're versed in the language of what recovery is all about and what addiction is all about. People that don't have those feelings have no clue. They just don't know. And rightfully so. How would they know? But it's an education and it's a process. And I want everyone out there to know that they are not alone. I'm here, whether on the phone here on the shows, and as we go forward on some of the live shows, maybe you'll be more comfortable to ask a question. But if you want to be able to reach me, you go to my website, pushyabroadfromthebronx.com. You call my 800 number as well, which is 800-889-1757, and I will give you the answers you need, because no matter what, these problems are not going to go away. And it's been my experience always that these problems just get worse.
I want to ask you this and talk about it when we come back from break. One of the things that I think is really difficult is in the work that you do is that recovery, unless an individual lives by themselves, never has anybody they ever interact with, it is rarely a single isolated communication and assistance. And so when we come back, I want to talk with you about what have you seen with families, because I know in my family, when I talk about my mom and my family and my sisters and so forth, is that if we understood that this isn't just one person, that there are other people in the family, and there is an issue or issues that rise up in a family that we need to know about. I'd love to talk to you about that when we come back. For those, it's so important. I want to just say to folks, if you'd like to call in, you have a question for Ellen, please give us a call. This is Ellen Stewart, Pushy Broad from the Bronx. This is Recovery Recharged. And the call-in number for today is 1-800-930-2819. And when we come back, Ellen's going to talk about what she does in working with families, working with friends, working with relatives, how this is systemic, and also how her work is. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Our angels and animals are always working for and around us. Darcy Pariso knew from an early age she felt this incredible presence that was confirmed for her in a Reiki Level 1 course. From then on, she has honed her skills and dedicated her talents to providing answers, inspiration, and tools for people to move past limiting blocks and past traumas to truly live a life of happiness. For more information about working with Darcy, visit darcypariso.com.
Hey, how's it going? If it's stressful or just plain exhausting, New Light Living is here to ask, is this the way you want to live? Join me, your intuitive spiritual life coach and host, Ulrika Sullivan, every week on New Light Living. Discover the power of creative tools to start living every day as your ideal dream day. See your life in a new light. To learn more, visit newlightliving.com.
Are you ready to transform your life and embrace magical experiences? Talking to Tanis with your host Tanis McCrae is here to help you find your joy in life. Tune in live every first and third Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Let's awaken your experience and create the change necessary to take back your right to choose who you are. For more about Tanis, visit TalkingToTanis.com.
Have you ever wondered what your pets think about? Do you know what your pets are saying to you? Dr. Monica will be your pet's translator to help you understand what your pets are trying to communicate to you. Enhance the bond with your furry friends on Pets Talk with Pet Communicator Dr. Monica each month on TransformationTalkRadio.com. For more information about Dr. Monica, visit PetCommunicator.com.
Sanskrit is not just a language to be written and spoken, but it is a doorway to gaining understanding of how we experience life and truth. Conscious Confidence is a book written by Sanskrit scholar Sarah Main. The stories Sarah shares will take you on a journey of understanding how the power of this ancient language is not only still relevant, but can truly transform your everyday life. Drawing upon the deeper meanings behind the Sanskrit words for confidence, Sarah Main outlines principles for harnessing the fourfold energy of conscious confidence: focusing, uniting, simplifying, and energizing. Not just a book, a life guide. Available now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Inner Traditions. You can find all of those links on consciousconfidence.com.
Look, everybody, welcome back. Look, this is so cool because Ellen and I know we record the break break outtakes. Benny doesn't do it, but we do it. And we're going to start to collect these outtakes because this is where you and I, Ellen, we start to think about, well, what direction should we go with the show? And we get some ideas about it. But before we go there, I want to take a moment to tell folks exactly what you do. And here's what I want to say about it. You know, a lot of times you don't know what you don't know about what's going on in your family or with yourself. You don't know. Is like what somebody is telling me really true? Does it seem like I'm an addict? I'm drinking just like everybody else on my job. At least that's what I used. I'm like, wait a minute, we all go out to lunch. But some people actually do come back from lunch.
Some people do. I know, it's amazing.
They don't drink.
Right.
But you work with people across the board. There's a wide spectrum. There are 50 shades of this. Take a moment, if you don't mind. Let's have your website and phone number. And please, for people listening, please talk about the invitation you have to help, regardless of what folks are thinking. Maybe they're thinking, oh, well, maybe she doesn't handle this drug, or maybe she doesn't handle this family member, or maybe she doesn't. Just tell them what you do.
Okay. Well, I'm Ellen Stewart, Pushy Broad from the Bronx, and I am a certified recovery coach. I have been in this field for 15 years, and I am passionate about all of the people that I work with. I work with active alcoholics and addicts. I work with addicts and alcoholics that are in recovery. And also, most importantly, just like today's show, I work with the family surrounding that loved one and give them support and education, because it is a family process and it's a family situation and a family problem. And you can find me at pushybroadfromthebronx.com. My 800 number is 800-889-1757. You can send me an email, go right to my website and do that. I will answer your questions and help you, make you feel comfortable. And I know all of you out there, some of you, if not all of you, are dealing with this problem right now.
Yep.
There is somebody that you know is suffering and you want to help them. That's a natural instinct. You want to help somebody that you love. Please learn how to help them, because there are ways to help, and there are ways sometimes that will do more damage, not only to your loved one, but to yourself. And that's the most important thing. You need educated help. You need a guide. You need a coach. And that's where this coach comes in, because it's not only about recharging the recovery of the addict or alcoholic that is now starting to recover, but it's recharging your recovery so that you know how to go forward and handle the problems that are coming your way. So I want to give you just some ideas of a few little things that you can do, and then I have talked to my clients about, my families that are loved ones. First of all, I want you to make sure that you are keeping the alcohol out of the house. If you have a drink and you don't have a problem drinking, I completely understand that. But while you're in the house with someone that is an active alcoholic, I need you not to keep alcohol in the house. It is too much of a trigger. It's like somebody that's going on a diet and you're bringing cake, candy, and ice cream into the house.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And, you know, I want to jump in and say this. Contrary to what you might read, even in some of the 12-step programs, what Coach Ellen, Pushy Broad from the Bronx, is saying has got to be non-negotiable. Maybe you've picked up an article that said, yeah, it's okay. No, you can't walk into a bar. So thank you for pointing that out, because this is why you're called the Pushy Broad from the Bronx, because you go against some of the conventional things that we know do not work.
That's correct. That's correct. Look, I have been with couples. I've seen couples sit down and they're having dinner, and the person who is not the alcoholic will say, I'm just going to have a glass of wine or two because my wife, who has a problem with drinking, she doesn't drink wine. She likes to drink vodka. So the wine isn't going to bother her. You know, I mean, really, Okay? You can't do this. You have to respect, and if you want to help your loved one, you cannot put a trigger in front
Yeah.
of them. You
Yeah.
have to be patient and loving and encouraging, but you have to be tough as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
You
You
have
know,
to remove the temptations.
yeah. Let's just use a very common phrase, and then I'm going to kick this back to you. There's a common phrase, and they made millions on this phrase. I bet you can't eat just one. And I'm not going to mention who that is.
Right.
But was advertising genius because it was true.
Yes.
Whether you're talking about addiction for stuff you eat, or you're talking about alcohol, whatever that is, if you are in the place of you can't have just one, I don't care what it is, and you know what I'm talking about, right? That is a sign, right, Ellen?
Yes. And in recovery, we say one drink is too many, 1,000 is never enough.
Right.
So whatever it is, but understand that maybe if you don't have a problem with alcohol or drugs, maybe you're having a food addiction problem. Maybe you're having a gambling problem. Maybe you're having a video gaming problem, or you know somebody that is suffering through this. These follow the same addictive brain patterns as picking up a drink or a drug. So maybe you're in a house where there's nobody doing active alcohol, active drinking or active drugging, but maybe your child is sitting there playing video games from 9 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock at night on the weekends. And as soon as they come home from school, they're playing, I don't know, Fortnite or Warcraft or whatever else they're playing. That becomes compulsive and addictive behavior. So there are other things that may not be readily evident to you that families need help with. The compulsions that drive people to be obsessed in a negative way. And I want to tell you that I am out here waiting to take your calls and to take your questions and to work with you one-on-one. Pushy Broad from the Bronx, Ellen Stewart, pushybroadfromthebronx.com, and my toll-free number is 800-889-1757.
So let's talk about some of the examples when folks have come to the end of their rope and they show up and they don't know what they don't know, and you welcome them with open arms. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Well, first of all, I always approach people with patience, kindness, and understanding. And I've been a teacher most of my life. I was a college professor, I was a high school student. So I appreciate that people need to learn. And that's what this is all about. That's the approach I take, to give them understanding and also give them guidance and education. And then they begin to learn to keep the focus of attention on themselves while still being able to help another human being. It's an amazing transformation. I worked very, very often with parents who have young adult children, who have children in high school and in college, and have turned around and said to me, I don't know what I would do without you, because I could not navigate this world or this language unless you help me find the way. And that's why I do this, because I know that I make a difference in the lives of people that have told me. You're only as good as the feedback that you get. And the feedback has been, thank you for helping me see and understand when I was never able to understand before. And realizing that I am here to guide you one step at a time, just like recovery is one step at a time. That's the purpose of this, and also to help parents and to family members let go of all that anger and resentment that has built up. Most families are holding on to a powder keg of resentment and anger because they think that what the addict or alcoholic is doing is directed right at them. And now learning and understanding what addiction really is, and how parents and family members and loved ones can make an actual difference in not only the lives of the person that's struggling, but in their own lives, really makes them extremely happy and very content and very well aware. So I love seeing the looks on their faces when they realize that there is a better way and that help is out there and they don't have to go it alone. No more.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things that I wanted to ask you about is, what do you think is the hardest thing that people have in front of them that holds them back from picking up the phone?
I think there's a couple of things. I think people sometimes don't want to be exposed and they're a little bit afraid, and I understand that. If you don't want to openly ask your question, you could call in and you could ask the producer to voice your question, or you can send me an email and we'll talk directly one-on-one. Part of that is the fear of being exposed, and I would never do that. This is a program of anonymity. And the other part of it is some people are in denial. They think they can handle it themselves. Or some people understand that being where they are makes them feel like they're stuck, they're
Mm-hmm.
paralyzed. They can't move in either direction. And I just
Mm-hmm.
want to tell everybody out there that you're not stuck, you're not paralyzed. There is a way out, and it starts with a single step. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that's the hardest step, but trust me, everything else after that gets a lot easier.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
does. The
Yeah.
first thing you have to say is, help me, because now you know where to go for help. So all
Yeah.
you have to do is say, please answer my question, please help me, and I'm here to do that.
Mm-hmm. And you know, the thing too, that I think that is important to talk about is folks say, well, wait a minute, I'm not going to pick up that phone. I'm just too angry to do that now. Well, that is the time to pick up the phone,
Yes.
right?
Listen,
You know
I've
what I
had
mean?
people
We
scream
want
at
to
me.
wait. Yeah, we want to wait till we chill out or we don't feel anger or we don't feel resentment. And
Right,
then I'll call my coach or I'll
right.
call somebody for help. But that's actually the perfect time to call.
It absolutely is the perfect time to call. I hear people will get on the phone and before they say hello, they'll say, I'm so angry at him, or I'm so angry at her, or how can my child do this? Or I'm here to listen to all of that. You have to be able to vent that anger, that disappointment, that sadness, or you don't feel that you can pick up the phone because you're going to get too emotional. You're going to cry and never stop crying. Trust me, you will. This is the road to letting go of the anger. This is the road to letting go of the sadness, to letting go of the emotional breakdown. So Transformation Talk Radio, I mean, the reason that it was such a great thing for me to come here was because your words, Transformation Talk Radio, transformation, that's such a powerful thing. And that's what happens here when you call and you say, I need help, or when you listen to a radio show, or you go to a website, or you talk to a coach. That's how transformation begins. So
Yeah.
what you do is fantastic, and it's a wonderful way to open up the lines of communication, especially with such a difficult and delicate topic. And that's why we're here, and I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere. Transformation Talk Radio and I will be around for a very long time. So know me, trust me. Dr. Pat knows me and trusts me. And with my years of experience, I am here to help you. Pick up
Well,
the phone
you know,
and
I was
say,
asking you before we were getting ready, I was asking you, how did the weekend go? What were you doing on the weekend? And, you know, this is how you know whether or not somebody is passionate about what they're doing. Because one of the things folks don't realize about this body of work and what you do is it's a 24/7 job, isn't it?
oh, yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's a 24/7 job. But, you know, look, a crisis doesn't happen Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. All right. It just doesn't happen that way. If somebody is having a difficult situation because somebody is experiencing a problem, or an alcoholic is struggling, or an addict is struggling, or a family is struggling because they're being abused by an active alcoholic, or a kid is being expelled from school, most of these things happen in the middle of the night and on weekends and on holidays. And I'm used to this life. I've had 15 years of this life and 34 years of personal recovery. Boy, if I could have scheduled my episodes at a certain time, I'd certainly make them during the week, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And I get a lot of overseas calls as well. And I know that your listeners come from Australia and from many English speaking countries. So I don't care when the call comes in. I care that you make the call. That's the first thing.
Yeah. I mean, look, we used to have a very narrow definition of recovery. And what I mean by narrow is that it took a really long time to include different forms of addiction, right? And one of the things that's important to keep in mind is that when we're talking about recovery, and we're talking about, for you, we're talking about recovery recharge, we're talking about something that's all inclusive. This is something we're seeing. I don't know that folks realize that the level of addiction we're seeing now, the numbers and statistics on it are staggering and they're growing. And I think that's something that is worth noting, staggering and growing.
Absolutely. And now what I see a lot is young people now are vaping, and they're vaping marijuana, and they're getting caught in school, and they're getting expelled. And even with all the dangers coming about, some of the kids are vaping less, but then they're going back to regular smoking. And it's just one big horror story after another. It is a real problem, and it is constant. And anybody that needs help cannot do it alone, whether they're the active addict, the active alcoholic, the addict or alcoholic that's in current recovery, or the families that are struggling to understand those situations and the disease of addiction. No one, not anyone, can do it alone. I couldn't do it alone when I got clean and sober, and I still can't do it alone because I'm out in the community and I network with people and I give that back to my clients. You cannot do it alone. Do not carry that burden. You will fail, and I don't want you to fail. I want you to succeed. Mm-hmm.
Well, Ellen, this is a great show, really, that opens up the door for many, many people. And whether you've listened to the show or listening to it live right now, or you're going to listen to the replays we're going to play, the door is open 24/7. And I want to make sure folks know that. Take a minute, if you could, Ellen, and give out your information again, whether that's phone number, email, best way to contact you, website. And also the kinds of invitation that you have for people are less about, are you the right person, or is this the right time? And would you talk about that in the few minutes we have left?
Sure. Even if you don't know whether or not I can help you, I am glad to take your phone call, to take your email. It's Ellen Stewart, recovery coach. And I can be reached at pushybroadfromthebronx.com. You can send me an email very easily at ellen@pushybroadfromthebronx.com, or just, I don't know how you can forget pushybroadfromthebronx.com. So you just go to the website and ask your question. My 800 number is 800-889-1757. I'm available at all times to make arrangements to talk to you about any addiction crisis, any life crisis that you have regarding alcohol, drugs, or compulsions of any kind. And most importantly, the family member, the families.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me help the families who are struggling, the husband or the wife that is struggling to get help for themselves and for the one that is suffering from addiction.
And family members as well as friends, because I think the hardest thing is friends that don't want to give up a friendship and don't know what to do.
Right.
And, a conversation with Ellen not only can help you with your life and your direction, but also help you perhaps in helping another. And I think that's what this is all about.
And they're confidential conversations, right? They're just between you and I. We don't discuss them on the air. I don't post them on the website. They're confidential conversations. If you have a question because you think someone is truly suffering, I want to hear from you. All right. And if you're suffering because of it, I really want to hear from you. I want you to be able to get back to a situation that you're comfortable with. I want you to know that you don't cause it, you're not responsible for it, and I want you to give me a call and work with the Pushy Broad.
Yeah, the thing I want to say about this too is you're going to probably be sitting there trying to figure something out, and I'm telling you, Ellen and I both have had more people that have said to us, I don't even know why I'm calling you, but that's okay.
Oh, yes.
That's okay.
That's okay. I don't even know why I'm calling, but if you feel compelled to do that, it's for a reason. And I'm going to get you help no matter what.
That's it. Pushy Broad from the Bronx. Ellen Stewart. I'm Dr. Pat. Remember, help is literally a phone call away. It's a phone call away. And we know what's going on right now with addiction. So please, let's get it done. Thank you, Ellen. Great show.
Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you, Benny.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Zach, and thanks to all of you out there. And we're really serious about this. This is a campaign that Ellen has started, and the campaign is to make sure you know her door is open 24/7 for whatever it is, even if you don't know the question. Please don't be afraid to reach out. Thank you all. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to Recovery Recharged with certified life and recovery coach Ellen Stewart, Pushy Broad from the Bronx. Don't miss your next opportunity to let me help you recharge your recovery, let go of your secrets, and change the way you think, feel, and act right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com.